That is why religion exists, I believe, and I think for us, we don't have a religion, but we're still content because I think, like, my parents are very, very Christian. And I'm not saying this to offend anyone, but from what I've gathered from my parents, they were very abusive growing up. I don't have any ill will towards them, but then they found God. And to me, religion is something that gets someone where they need to be. So I don't personally need a God to do good. I do think that a lot of people do need a God to do good. And my parents being one of them, they need someone to guide them. Whether that belief is true or not, I don't know. I'm not to say. But regardless of what any of us know, we take something and we latch onto it to get through our lives.
Yeah. Not as often as I'd like to. I've got kids and, I'm a teacher. I got a full-time job and everything, so I don't get out as often as I'd like to. But during the summer, I got a little bit of time. My kids are currently at a fine arts camp at the Methodist church in town here. So they've got like 3 hours, and I'm like, hey, I could hang out in a park and read and do some interviews if people come by.
Right.
Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having us, I guess.
We'll see how it goes, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
right.
you won't be thinking, hopefully it's all good and you enjoy it. I hope to make it enjoyable. I took a photo, not a video there. Oh.
Well, this is the first time of me I'm doing something like this, so.
Yeah. It's not a usual kind of thing to do, right?
Right.
But hopefully it's kind of fun.
I'm pretty sure it's a good way to interact with people, though.
Yeah, it's nice to just be able to talk to people and just get to meet some people, and kind of see what they're thinking and how things are going for them. So first of all, I'm Nate.
Sree.
Tree?
Sree. S-R-E-E.
Oh, okay, Tree.
Yeah.
S-R-E-E? 2 E's?
Yep.
Awesome. Cool. So, Sree, what are you up to in the park? Just going for a nice walk? Got yourself some coffees? And...
Yeah, we were going for the buffet. It's our anniversary today. So
cool.
we're going for a buffet, the Paradise Buffet in Auburn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Going there for lunch?
Yeah, going there for lunch. It opens at 11, so we just like hang around in the park. That's what we do. When we feel alone at home, we just come around, we walk around. Yeah, we spend time with each other.
Good. Well, happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you. It's 5 years today.
5 years?
Yeah.
Cool. My wife and I have been married 11, so so 5 years though. That's nice. That's kind of like the first big one, really. Well, maybe the first one is the first big one. I'm not sure. Cool. So, is there any particular topic that's been on your mind recently, like a belief that you would be interested in exploring?
I believe in a lot of things.
Okay.
But I'm okay to, I'm openly to, I'm ready to talk about whatever you want to.
Okay. Well, it's helpful if it's something that's important to you.
Okay.
Something maybe that influences your behavior. Maybe something where if you believe differently about the topic, your life might be different in some way. Can you think of any like really important belief like that you're interested in talking about?
I just did believe I just figured out something in my life.
Okay.
So it's like I've been, trying to motivate myself to do certain things of life. I'm actually a mechanical engineer with specialization in design. I work in SolidWorks and stuff, which is design applications and stuff. And I found out that, it's a lot of people talk about motivation to keep yourself going every day. But I found out that discipline is more important than motivation, because motivation, you might have it for a week or maybe like a couple weeks or maybe like a 1 month in a row, but once you discipline yourself, you don't need motivation every single day of your life. So I'm trying to train myself to be disciplined rather than being motivated.
Okay, interesting. So discipline is more important than motivation.
I wouldn't necessarily say discipline is more important than motivation, but I focus on motivation more.
You focus
I focus on discipline.
You
more.
focus on discipline
Yes.
more. but it's not necessarily that it's more important.
Yes.
Would you say this is something that it's more important for you personally?
Yes.
Okay, so discipline is more important than motivation for you.
Because you might have motivation today, you might have motivation tomorrow, but you cannot guarantee it every day through your whole life. You know, you have your ups and downs, and when you're down, you need motivation, but you may not find it. But if you have a discipline, then even though you're ups and downs, you will do it. That's the difference I found out between motivation and discipline too. In motivation, you say, I have to do this. That's a motivation thing. You know, I have to do this. I have to try this. I have to, you know, get myself better. In discipline, I will do this. So instead of I will.
Okay. I have to do this versus I will do this. You mentioned that like motivation can kind of go up and down, that sort of thing. It's variable. Do you see discipline as something that you can control more that's not as variable?
It's more like discipline. I mean, I'm not sure at it. I'm still figuring it out.
Okay.
But I believe discipline is something that you don't have to do it, because once you get the habit of doing a certain things, you don't have to tell yourself to do it. For example, when you're you know, I have this habit where when I was you know, how do you say, when I was brought up, I'm from India.
Okay.
So when I was brought up, my parents, it's a small example, but my parents told me to brush every day, which is not a big thing, you know, everybody does it. But now it's, you know, sometimes sometimes some people, like, you know, they miss a day or two. It's just an example, like I was saying. But now I have the habit of brushing every day, no matter what. So it's kind of like a discipline. You know what I'm trying to say?
So is discipline, are habits part of discipline, or what's the relationship between habits and discipline?
Habits is something that you can take your mind off your day-to-day life stress. It's I believe habits, I mean, I don't know how to say it out loud, but what would you say?
You have to be disciplined to create habits in order for them to be your own.
Right.
Okay. That seems reasonable. So being disciplined helps you build healthy habits.
Right.
Do those healthy habits then reinforce the discipline?
Yes,
you think?
it does.
Okay. So it's kind of a nice, like, positive feedback loop there. Discipline leads to good habits. Good habits
Leads
help
to
you stay
discipline.
disciplined.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so motivation, you're saying motivation as being more of things that you have to do, like obligations. Is that right?
No, I would say motivations. I mean, how can I say it? You know, you can motivate yourself for only, you know, maybe like a week or maybe like a month straight. You know, every single day when you do the same things. For example, if you consider about me, I'm you know how I was saying, but I have my visa issues, so I'm not allowed to work in the United States right now.
Oh.
Yeah, so
That's a
I have
shame.
to, yeah.
You gotta work through that whole process and everything.
Yeah, I have to work through the whole process. But I'm pretty sure we'll be able to figure it out by the next year. But until then, it's like 6 months from now. Basically, I'm a house husband, so, which means I have to keep myself going no matter what. And it takes a lot to get yourself assigned to a role that you're not ready for. And in that scenarios, I find discipline would be a little more helpful for me than motivation.
Yeah,
because
I understand that a lot, because as a teacher, I'm off in the summer. And so I'm home all day, and my routine that I'm used to is broken, right? And it's just, I'm at home with the kids and that sort of thing. And it can be easy to wind up not doing anything if you don't have any sort of discipline.
I would say motivation, instead of getting yourself motivated, instead of getting myself motivated, I motivate myself to be disciplined. I'd rather put it that way.
So there's a relationship there between motivation and discipline. So do you see discipline and motivation as like two very distinct different things, or do they kind of interact with each other, overlap with each other at all?
I'd strongly, I mean, can we need a minute break?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motivation to be disciplined.
Yeah, maybe what is the relationship between discipline and motivation?
Because it takes for I believe if your body wants to get used to something, it takes a certain period of time.
Okay.
Right? And discipline, if you train yourself to be disciplined for that certain period of time, when the motivation goes away, you will not stop doing things what you're doing because you're already disciplined.
Okay. So discipline can kind of take the place of motivation when you
Right.
run out of motivation.
Right.
Okay.
You don't have to keep motivating yourself. You know, we all have those days where we look in the mirror and we talk to ourselves, like, you know, try to get better in lives and do better with yourselves. So you don't have to do that every single day once you get used to it. You don't
Okay.
have to keep motivating yourself once you fall in the rhythm.
Interesting. Okay, I think I understand what you mean by discipline and motivation better now. So my next question is kind of about gauging how strongly you feel about this, how confident you are that this is true. So how confident are you that this is true for you personally?
I'm around 95% sure.
Okay,
95% sure, around that area.
95% or so.
Yes.
So that's personally. How confident are you that this is true for people more generally?
I would say every person has their own mentality.
Okay.
You know, it's not necessarily that every person has to think the same way I'm thinking, but also it might help for the people. I mean, it actually depends on the people who are perceiving it the same way if I'm perceiving it. You know, if someone else has a different point of view on the same topics that I'm talking about, and they might have different opinions about the same topics we are talking about. So I cannot really say how other people would react to it, but I'm pretty confident that instead of just motivating and stopping myself from motivating, I motivate myself to discipline.
Okay. So for other people, not quite so sure, but at least for yourself, you're very confident
Yes.
that this is true for you.
Yes.
Why is this belief important to you?
Because I mean, every person is different. You cannot there's
Yeah. Sorry. Let me ask that again. I think I'm probably misformed the
no,
question.
you're fine.
Why is this belief that discipline is more important than motivation for you? Why is that an important belief to you? Well, why did you decide to talk about this when you sat down?
Because that was one of the topics that I've been thinking about
Okay.
like recently, among many other topics that I've been talking to myself. But yeah, this is the one thing that I've been working on. And what?
Can I chime in?
Yeah, sure.
So I think it's more that for you, motivation is not enough. So like if you don't have motivation for that day, then that's it. You don't want that. So your thing is if I'm disciplined, then I don't need the motivation. And I think before you came to believe that it was, well, if I don't have motivation, then it's not going to get done.
So do you think there are maybe possibly consequences for your life for having this belief?
Yeah, it's a change in my life. So I'm pretty sure changes are good.
Okay.
So yeah,
All
it could
changes
be,
are good, or this change is good?
This change.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on the change again.
Right. Yeah.
Depends on what kind of change we're going through.
Yeah. Okay, so this has been maybe a belief that you've recently come to about yourself,
Yes.
and you think that it's improved your life,
Yes.
right? Okay.
It-
So
it
how
made
would
me
your
more
life
peaceful?
made you more peaceful?
more
So
calm.
if you didn't believe this, if you weren't as confident this was true, you might be less peaceful?
I would not rather say less peaceful, but I would be more confused about how to go ahead with my life when I'm not ready for the situation I'm in right now.
Did you feel more confused prior to learning this about yourself?
Yes, but it's not just this that helped me through it. There are other things that I talk to myself,
Okay.
like what am I doing in this universe? How do I consciousness and all the stuff that
Really big, heavy topics.
Yeah, I don't want to open all
Yeah.
the can of worms.
Well, we
but-
can talk about those too if you want to. I mean, that's fine. I'm up for any topic. So.
Oh well, me and her, we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Like nothing makes sense in this world.
Well, I think the motivation thing, though, I think with that, it's that before you came upon the discipline thing, I think it was, well, you're watching all these people get through their life and you're thinking, well, they're motivated. No, they're not. I think it is discipline that gets most people through their days because there are a lot of things in our days that we don't want to deal with. And I think growing up, we were taught, well, you'll have the motivation and you'll do it. And no, it's not like that. That's not how life is. I think you have to be disciplined to do the things that you don't want to do so that you can do the things that you want to do and that you are motivated to do.
Yep, and like you were saying, how how a discipline can be related to a habit. Yeah, and yes, you're right. A discipline could turn into a habit. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like this piece that you get, and maybe also, would you also say that you're more productive after believing this? This peace and productivity are important to you?
Oh yes. Yes.
And do you think you would be, and you think possibly you'd be less peaceful, less productive if you didn't believe this or didn't kind of know this about yourself?
I would be looking for more answers for
Okay.
it. Trying to figure out how our life is. What's the purpose of life? But again, yeah, that plays a pretty good role if I want some changes in my life. And I also we watch a lot of movies together, and there's this movie that we watched recently. It's Kung Fu Panda, and I like the saying from it. It says, "If you only do what you always did, then you'll only be where you've always been." So, that's one more you can add to that. I would like to add to that, where if you only do what you do, then you'll only be where you are.
It sounds like you're maybe wanting to progress and wanting to achieve things in the future,
Yes.
and this belief that being more disciplined and building these healthy habits is going to help you achieve those things and reach your goals.
Right.
Okay.
Strongly agree with that.
Cool. Is there anything that you could learn or experience in the future
Oh
that would... Oh, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. I
Oh,
thought you were
okay.
done.
Is there anything you could learn or experience in the future that would make you less confident that this is true for you?
Less confident. I wouldn't say. What do you mean by that?
Like, is it okay if I present a hypothetical
Yeah, sure.
example?
Yeah.
If, for example, you were to be really disciplined, build a lot of healthy habits, and you do so and you maintain these habits and you remain disciplined for an extended period of time, but you don't achieve the things you want to achieve maybe, or you don't feel more peaceful, or you still have a lot of questions and uncertainty about your life, would that make you less confident that discipline is important?
I wouldn't think so,
No?
because I strongly believe that I strongly believe in destiny. So if it's meant to be, it is meant to be. So I spend a lot of time in my career and in my life to get where I am right now, and to come from all the way to India and to come here to meet her, the love of my life, and to get away from my family and everything. It's all planned out. It's a destiny. So if I'm able to keep my brain under positive vibrations and positive atmosphere in my brain, then it doesn't matter what happens to your life, because it's just a phase of life and you'll get through it.
Also, if you're disciplined,
Yeah, you'll keep doing it no matter what.
then when you fail at something, it doesn't feel as much of a failure because you've done everything that you can do and you've tried your hardest, and that's good enough.
Yes.
But if you're not disciplined, then later when you fail, you're gonna feel some type of way about yourself because, well, I could have done better.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a different feeling when you fail and you've tried, and when you fail and you have not tried.
And for me, I would say at the end of the day, before I go to bed, being, like you were saying earlier, being productive, or being being satisfied with yourself, for whatever you've done for the end of the day. Because I know for a fact that I cannot predict what's gonna happen in future, and I cannot control what's in my past, because it's done and it's yet to come. And the only thing I can control is present. So, I mean, like so many people have said it before, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're on the right path. If you know that will help you in a certain way, then keep doing it no matter what's the result, because the result will come. I don't want to chase the result or the future.
Okay.
It'll come to me.
I'm curious in this idea of destiny. What do you mean by destiny?
Now, I would like to give a small example.
Sure.
Okay. So, came here to the United States in January 14th in 2017. And I had 2 flights. I had to change a flight from India to London, Heathrow, and from London to Massachusetts. That's where I got my master's degree from, Western New England University in Massachusetts. But anyway, I had a flight from London to Heathrow, and there was a guy who was sitting by me, a passenger. And, he was an Indian too, and we were just talking to each other, and I think he was going to Boston. He was actually going to Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, he was living in Chicago, and I was living in Massachusetts because I had my master's there. And I feel like a year or something, my cousin, Sree, he invited me to go to New York. And then we went to New York, we had a good time there. And then we decided to go on a ferry ride to Rhode Island. Is that Rhode Island or
Long Island? Maybe?
Yeah, Long
Okay.
Island, where you take a ferry and you go to the
Or maybe Staten Island.
Staten Island.
Staten Island?
Yeah, Staten Island. My bad. So yeah, you take a ferry to go to Staten Island from New York, like from the place. And there are like only 3 or 4 rides all through the day.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a certain set of time we ended up going on the last boat to the Staten Island, and I met the guy who I met in the plane
Oh, really?
in the same ferry
Okay.
after a year or more than a year in the same ferry. And what are the chances of that?
Yeah.
So it's all, I would say, destiny is something that you cannot control. It just comes your way.
I also feel like everything that ever happened in my life, whether good or bad,
Right.
has led me to where I'm supposed to be. So I don't have bad feelings about any of the bad things that have ever happened to me, because I wouldn't be where I am or I have a child and things like that. So
Do you
And
feel
also-
similarly that it's something that's supposed to happen?
Yes.
Supposed to happen?
Yes. Because
Like meant to be?
Yes, it is meant to be, because I met her in 2019 November, and before that, I came to US in 2017.
Okay.
I've been to many states. I've been to California. I lived there for like 3 months. I've lived in Europe for a couple months. I lived in Michigan for a couple months, and I've been around US.
Okay.
And I came to Indiana to work here in Indiana, and I happened to come across her, which I know for a fact that no one can understand me better. No one can understand me better than how she can.
by the way, he wanted nothing to do with any kind of relationship. He didn't want nothing to do with me. And life had different things going for him. So
Funny how that happens, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I can never find anyone who can understand me like her.
Okay.
So it's all written down. It's all destiny. If,
How do we know that something is destiny?
it's hard to find. I see. There's one more example I would like to give. I do not believe in God or
Okay.
devil.
Okay.
I believe in positive energies and negative energies.
Okay.
So how it works is, if I do something good for 100 people, then the 100 people are gonna all of them are gonna remember me. I'm not gonna be the God, but you know what I'm saying. Like, they're gonna remember me in a good. So I believe in good and evil it's within me. If I'm doing something good for myself and the people around me, then they'll remember me. If I do something terrible, then they will remember me in a wrong way. I mean, in the other way. So
Okay. So when you treat people well, they remember you. And that'll have maybe possibly come back to you in a positive way. Maybe they'll say nice things about you or do
Right.
something nice for you, that sort of thing.
right.
What do you... Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm understanding you properly. So I'm going to ask a few questions about some words you've used, okay? Just
Yes.
because I want to make sure I understand it, okay? because I find this to be pretty interesting. Discipline motivation. Thanks for sharing that. I think that was also interesting. Though it sounds like it's kind of like a personal thing that works for you.
Yes.
Maybe it works for other people. The idea of destiny, I feel like, is maybe a little bit more interesting. So is it okay if I kind of pursue that and we talk about that for a bit?
Yeah.
And if you need to go, let me know. I don't want to hold you
No,
for too long.
No,
so-
I'm not. I don't have to go. I need a minute just to collect
Okay.
myself.
Yeah, that's totally fine. If you want to take a moment to think, I'll think about. Anytime I ask you a question, you can pause and you can take 20, 30 seconds and think about it before answering. That's fine too.
Oh, okay.
And likewise, I might need a minute to formulate questions too.
Okay.
There's no pressure. We don't have to move at a certain speed. We can go as fast or slow as you're comfortable with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I just want to make sure I'm not monopolizing your time. And if you've
No.
got somewhere to be, don't hesitate to
No.
tell me, hey, we got to get going.
No,
Okay.
no, we're fine. We're good.
Cool. So you kind of talked about energy, like positive and negative energy, or good or evil energy. And then the example you brought up was discussing, if I treat people well, that positivity can come back to me, that sort of thing. Is it just people remember you and treat you well in return, like a reciprocal kind of social thing, or is there like a metaphysical, I don't know, that's a big word, kind of magical energy kind of thing to it, or is it not that?
It's more like I do not expect anything from them.
Okay.
So it's more. I believe more in giving than expecting.
Like an altruistic
Yes.
sort of attitude.
Yes.
Okay. Because then you also talk about destiny, and that also kind of has these kind of like meant to be predetermined, like everything is predetermined. Do you believe that everything is predetermined that happens in life?
It's not. I mean, I would not say it's. how
Not
can I say?
everything
Not
is
everything is
predetermined.
predetermined.
Okay.
But for example, this happening right now, I've never done this in my
Right.
life before, and it all happens to be on the day when I was on the day after, or maybe like a month after, I've been motivating myself and keeping myself pushing harder and harder, and this happened to be now.
You got an
So-
opportunity to talk about it, right?
Right,
Yeah.
got an opportunity to talk about it. So it's I just do believe that everything does happen for a reason,
Mhm.
and it's just instead of finding the reasons, I just go with it.
Where do these reasons come from? Are these reasons past events, or are they something else?
They're not political reasons. What do you mean past reasons?
Like, is when you say that everything happens for a reason, people can sometimes mean two different things by that. So one thing that I often hear when people say everything happens for a reason is that there's like this force outside of ourselves, or like a script to the universe, or a God determining whatever happens. I know you said you don't believe in a God, right? So it wouldn't be that. So that's one way that people kind of see it, is like, we're not fully in control of our own lives because there's something outside of us determining a path for us. And then another way people sometimes mean when they say everything happens for a reason is just that there's a causal chain of events where A happened that led to B happening, that led to C happening, that led to D happening, and then now we're here.
Right.
So do you see one of those two things happening, or is it some sort of combination of those when you say that?
So if it's like I was saying earlier, if it's meant to be, it doesn't matter if the order is A, B, C, D, or A, C, B, D. It's if it's like
It's like magnets.
yeah, it's like if you push yourself through, and the destiny will come to you instead of you going to the destiny.
Maybe it'd be good to talk about an example. So, do you think it was destiny that you two met?
Yes,
Oh, for sure.
for sure,
Okay.
for sure.
Could anything have changed you two meeting?
Yes.
What,
lot of
what,
things.
what do you mean? Could anything have changed?
Yeah. So, like, is it possible that you could have made different decisions in the past? Maybe you could have stayed in India and never come to the U.S. for your master's degree, and never moved around and met each other. Is that something that
If we made just
would have been
different
possible if you had
choices.
made different choices, or were you always going to meet no matter what?
I would strongly believe we would always meet no matter what,
In a
because
different
it's in a different way, in one way or the other. because I also know that it's hard to find coincidences in your life, and instead of coincidence, I believe, like I was saying earlier, it's destiny that brings you where you are.
That was actually one of the other questions I was gonna ask. I was interested in your perspective on coincidence versus destiny. First of all, how are those different from each other?
Coincidence is something that I would say for me, it just happens out of nowhere, and you feel like, oh wait, I think this happened before, or maybe like it's just
that's
another.
deja vu.
Yeah, that's deja vu. But like coincidence is more like, say, I don't know how to explain it right now, but
Okay, so I'll help you a little
No.
bit because English. Coincidence, I think, is something that we perceive. I don't think that anything is a coincidence. I think it was supposed to happen. And I think we as humans see them as coincidences. But they're not.
true. I completely agree with that.
Okay, so coincidences aren't real. They're just how we perceive destiny.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Sorry about my words.
Yeah,
I've only
interesting.
been here for like 6 years,
Yeah.
so I'm not really
No,
good
no,
in
you're
English,
you're
but
doing great.
yeah,
You're doing
yeah.
fine. No worries. And I'm sorry if I use a word that you don't
No,
understand
you're
too.
fine.
Sometimes I use too big of words.
No, you're fine.
I'm here for
So-
that. Too.
So you have a similar outlook
Mhm.
on coincidence and destiny,
Yes.
where coincidence is what we sometimes call destiny, but
Mhm.
it's actually destined to happen.
Right.
How confident are you that that's true?
It is 100% true because since we have been together,
Mhm.
we have lost and gained so many things. We lost our house in fire, and
no,
we
I'm sorry.
lost. Yeah, no, that's fine. It's in the past, but we lost our house in fire. Then we had similar instances with our other housing, and we had to keep moving, but we picked ourselves back up. So it's not a coincidence that I would say that we keep losing and getting back stuff, but it's our destiny to keep losing
okay.
and getting back stuff, where I value more lessons. For example, in the house fire, and I don't regret, or I don't mind saying this out loud, before the fire accident, I used to pay a lot of attention to things around me. I used to value more on the materialistic stuff.
Mhm.
But after the fire, I started paying attention to the living things more.
Okay.
Like, let it be anything, because anything you lose, like for example a bench or your favorite memory or a picture or something, like you storing storing something, it's, you might lose it, something might happen, but that could be a coincidence that you might find it back, but I would say it's your destiny that you might find it back. If you're meant to find it, then you'll find it. It's not the coincidence that makes you find it.
So you're 100% confident that destiny, this idea that you're meant to, right? That there are these things that are just meant to be, and that maybe nothing could change them.
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
Like, for example, you would have met no matter what. You're 100% confident that is true, and would you say one of your reasons is that you've had these experiences, you had kind of interesting or unlikely things have happened to you, you've learned from some events, you've rebounded from, and maybe became stronger because of bad things happening in your life?
Right.
Are these the sorts of reasons why you believe in destiny?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Those are mainly the reasons why I believe in this.
Okay.
Can I word
Which-
it in a certain
Yeah,
way?
sure.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
So basically, if I didn't go through A, B, and C, then I wouldn't have the mental capacity to deal with something in my future that is my destiny. So I've been through a lot of things in my life, and all of them, I believe, led to my husband.
Okay.
He is the only person that in my entire life that has shown me love regardless. I've been married before. I have a child from a previous marriage. A lot of people assume that I would be regretful of that marriage. I'm not. Because I feel like in order for me to be who I needed to be for him, I had to go through what I went through in that marriage. And because if I would have met him before I married my previous husband, we wouldn't have been compatible in the way that we needed to be compatible. That's why everything happens for a reason.
Okay. Do you think that your belief in destiny gives you a sense of comfort?
Yes. I think it can kind of peace.
Okay.
Because I can do my best day to day, but regardless, I'm going to end up where I'm supposed to end up. And I'm content with that.
Interesting.
So we can only do what we can.
Is that similar for you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like this belief in destiny gives you a sense of comfort?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
it does, because at the end of the day, for me, it's a satisfaction before I go to bed, and it's the it's a self what do you say? How do you say it? How do you word it? So if I can sleep good for 6 hours, that means I had a peaceful sleep, right?
Okay.
No, I lost my train of thought.
Possibly.
Hold on a
That's
second.
okay. Go ahead.
What were we
Collect your
talking about
thoughts.
again?
We're talking about comfort from this belief in destiny.
Yes.
You get a sense of comfort from it.
Yes, because I know for a fact that I cannot change the future. Future is something that just happens. But if I am happy with what I'm doing right now, and if I'm content with what I'm doing right now, then I don't have to worry about my future, or I don't have to worry about my destiny.
This is interesting. I'm going to be kind of a little bit blunt, if that's okay.
Yeah,
All right, is that all right? I don't mean any offense by this.
You're fine.
But I find these two different beliefs we discussed
Okay.
to be kind of to me, there's a tension there.
Okay.
Because when you're discussing destiny, you kind of talk about, the future is set. Things that I do aren't going to influence what happens in the future. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Right.
This gives me comfort, that sort of thing.
Right.
I think it does influence.
It does
it
influence.
does.
It's more like, like I said earlier, if I only do what I do, then I'll always be where I'll be. But you gotta try to go towards working towards the goal, but you cannot expect the goal to be there in one day.
Can our efforts or decisions influence or change destiny?
It doesn't, but it makes it stronger to face the destiny.
I think it alternates it. I think whatever's supposed to happen still happens. It might just happen in a different way, depending on your choices. So,
Just-
like, if we never met when we met, and I had made a different choice, we worked together when we met. So if I would not have started working there, I think then it would have rerouted. Okay, well, if you're not going to meet him here, then you'll meet him later.
And why do we think that's true?
I just think it's like magnets is the only way that I can, and it's not just with me and him, it's with everything in your life. So if I would have never made the decision to get married to my ex-husband, I would have never had a child, and he would never be a stepfather. Obviously, when we met, that's not what he wanted, but I think that's what he needed,
Okay.
and that's part of his,
So,
whether he wanted it or not. That's part of his destiny.
Is seeing things work out for the good?
Yes.
Let me see if I'm kind of capturing what you're saying there, and correct me if I'm wrong again. When we see things work out for the good, is that a sign of destiny? Is that how we know something is destined?
It's not. It doesn't. Destiny is not about being good or bad. It's just. I would say. It's something that's already set for you, and being better of myself every day will make me accept the destiny the way it is instead of expecting it to be in a certain way. So it helps me accept my future instead of expecting my future.
Yeah, so I'm hearing this a lot, this kind of sense of peace, sense of satisfaction, that this might be an important part of this belief in destiny. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what's getting confused is that he's saying he wants to be disciplined so he can get where he wants to to get in life. Part of that is part of his destiny. So, like, him being disciplined gets him to his destiny, whether he knows that or not. So, like, for instance, my life growing up and up into adulthood has not been easy. I have tried, you know, there's things that I've had, like obstacles I've had to overcome, but ultimately they still led me to my destiny. Doesn't mean that I can just like float around and expect my destiny to just come over to me. Like, it happens that way. So I think the discipline, he's supposed to be feeling the way that he's feeling about the discipline in order to get where he's supposed to be in life.
Interesting.
I think thoughts that pop into our head also lead us to where we're supposed to be. But I have come through so many leaps and bounds. I never imagined that I would be divorced and remarried, let alone. But I think because I believe in destiny, it has given me peace and also makes me feel better about myself, because I think, you know, being divorced is not the greatest thing, but I do not feel shame about it, because I wouldn't have my child. I would never have met my husband if I didn't have a previous marriage, because I had to go through Michigan and then I somehow ended up down here, just like he came from Massachusetts and lied to get a job.
not actually from Massachusetts. In 2017, I was in Massachusetts. In 2018, California. In 2019, like in New York. Or in 2018, California, New York, and Michigan, and Indiana. So all this, and what are the chances that I could meet someone who can actually understand me the way I want?
He wanted nothing to do with. He wanted to go to California. He wanted to go get his career started, and he didn't want anything to do with me.
Yeah. So is it when an event is unlikely? Is that you mentioned that, right? What are the chances that this happens when you observe something that you perceive to be unlikely? Is that something that gives you confidence that it's destiny?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Just wanted to make sure clarified there. I've got a couple of more broad view questions I want to ask, not so specific about this. So, first of all, how important is it to you for your beliefs to be true?
It is. I strongly believe everything that I do has to come from belief, because if I don't believe in myself, I feel like if I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm going to try to ask this a different way. Okay. Because believing in yourself and having that kind of like self-esteem and self-confidence, right? That's one way we could talk about like believing in yourself, that sort of thing.
Right.
What I'm more interested in is, let's pretend we have a map. Okay. Just pretend this is a map. And let's say that this map is like our working model, how we understand reality. Okay. You know, the world around us, the people in it, ourselves, the universe, etc. Right? Let's see, our map is like our map of belief, what we believe about reality. How accurate do you want your map to be?
I do not want it to be accurate. Because because
you're laughing. Do you want your map to be accurate?
I mean, I would love to. I would love to be my map to be accurate, because I would love, you know, whatever I believe in is actually true. Whatever I believe, you know, it's actually true. I would love to have that, but again, you know, it's not in our future. I mean, it's not in our hands that what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Okay, so.
What he's asking you is, so you believe in A, B, and C. These are your beliefs, right?
Yeah.
what percentage do you want to be true? Like, your beliefs are like false beliefs?
Do you want to have like do you want to have something on your map that isn't true? Like, if I had a map of DeKalb County, do I want to have something on the map that isn't actually there? Like, that's like you probably don't. I'm not saying that you do,
like
but
how you
Yeah.
perceive people who believe in God.
yeah, like
Right.
do you want the beliefs that you have? Do you want them? How much do you want them to match what's real and true?
I mean, I don't know what's real and true to actually, match it with what's actually real and true.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
my
yeah.
own certain set of beliefs.
We might not
and,
know.
No, he's saying, what do you
Right.
want?
Yeah.
What do you want it to be?
I mean, I do want it to be true.
100%,
Okay.
right?
I'm 100% true, obviously, but again, it's not in my control. That.
Yeah, we might not be able to have a 100% accurate map of reality, right?
Right.
That might be nice, although in some cases it might not be. There might be some truths.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
There might be
right?
some truths we don't want to know.
We don't know many things about life, though.
Yeah,
it's
so
not just
there
one
might
thing.
be empty spaces in our map. Parts of the map that aren't filled in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I think I'm okay with having some empty spaces in my map, right? Saying some things I just don't know, right?
True. I agree.
I'm not.
You're not. You want to know everything.
It bothers you too, because we are always talking about how like we just want to know like everything there is to know, but not everything. Just like, where did we come from? Why are we here? All of this.
I'm
And I
like,
think a lot of the division in the world is because nobody can agree on it.
it's
But I don't expect them to agree. But also, I think there are people that try to force their beliefs on other
Right.
people, and we're the type of people that we can have our own beliefs, and you don't have to believe them, and we're still okay with that. That's
Right.
cool.
Yeah, cool.
But
Tolerance and acceptance of
Yeah.
others who might see things differently, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I agree. Are there times where somebody else's map, their beliefs of how they perceive reality, are there times where you think maybe they do have something incorrect in their map?
I cannot tell because I don't know. There are a lot of things. There are a lot of things in life that science cannot explain, and there's a lot of things that I cannot explain. So whatever I believe, I'm not sure if it's 100% true. I would love it to be 100% true, but whatever I do believe, I don't know everything.
You said you were 100% true in Destiny.
Destiny, that's correct.
Are there other beliefs that you're 100% on, or are most of the things in your map not 100%?
I'm on a floating rock.
In the middle of nowhere.
And I have a conscious. I'm 30 years old, and I have a consciousness now. I don't know where I was 30 years ago, and I don't know where I'm going to be 100 years from now.
So there are lots of things you don't know,
There's
right?
a lot of things I don't know, but I do know one thing, that if it's that, like I was saying, destiny is 100% sure. Everything. If you want something in your life, then it will come to you. But also, it's kind of mutual. You cannot clap. I cannot clap with only one hand. You gotta. I have to put my efforts towards my destiny for it to happen too. But again, it will happen if it will happen.
Yeah. So destiny can be helped along maybe by our efforts, but this belief in destiny gives you like kind of a sense of peace and comfort.
Yep.
Could somebody else, a different person, say Jane. Jane walks up. Jane sits down, and Jane says, "I have a lot of peace in my life. I feel really satisfied with where I am. I enjoy what I'm doing. I have goals and aspirations. I discipline myself and develop good habits so that I can accomplish things I want in life. But I don't believe in destiny." Is it possible for Jane to say
Yes,
that?
it is. It is 100% possible because everybody has their own beliefs.
Yeah.
I believe in destiny, and that's how I oriented. The same way I believe there could be someone else who doesn't believe in destiny. They might have a different perspective of life.
And they could
than
still
how I
derive
do.
some of those
Yeah.
positive benefits even without that destiny belief.
I
Yeah.
think everyone has their own belief system that gets them through their day to day. That is why religion exists, I believe, and I think for us, we don't have a religion, but we're still content because I think, like, my parents are very, very Christian. And I'm not saying this to offend anyone, But from what I've gathered from my parents, they were very abusive growing up. I don't have any ill will towards them, but then they found God. And to me, religion is something that gets someone where they need to be. So I don't personally need a God to do good. I do think that a lot of people do need a God to do good. And my parents being one of them, they need someone to guide them. Whether that belief is true or not, I don't know. I'm not to say. But regardless of what any of us know, we take something and we latch onto it to get through our lives.
Yeah. For you personally, you can both answer this, take turns, whoever wants first. When it comes to your beliefs, what is more important? That they are true, like that they're accurate, like you have an accurate map of reality, or that they provide benefits, like you're talking about, like with like people who are religious and have a God belief, and that makes them maybe behave better. What do you think is more important? Do you value the truth more, or do you value the benefits more?
I value the truth, but also I realize that no matter what belief there is, there's going to be holes in it for anyone. Maybe not if it's your own belief, but like for instance with Christianity. I don't fault anyone that's Christian. I believe they should believe what they want to believe, and I could be wrong. God could be real. But for me personally, I think I struggle with religion because anytime I've ever seen it, it's come from someone that maybe has done bad, or even, I mean, if you're not raised in it, if you're raised in it, then like that's all you know. But my parents did bad and bad and bad, and the only thing that could keep them from doing bad is being a Christian. That's what keeps them in line.
Yeah. Do you have a similar perspective on this?
Yes, I do.
You do? Okay. You mentioned that you think that for some beliefs there might be holes in them,
Yes.
right? Let's say Jane here, right, who we were talking about earlier. Jane is a Christian, and she has similar beliefs maybe to your parents, right? And she's 100% confident Christianity is true.
Okay.
Now, do you think there might be some holes in her belief?
No, I mean, it's her perspective of life again, I would say, but if you ask us, it's a different perspective. She can believe all she wants, you know, it's all on her belief,
That's
her
what
way of
keeps
mind.
her at peace.
That's what keep
Yeah.
her at peace. Then if that's what she has to do or he has to do, then, you know, that's fine. That's completely fine. At the,
Okay.
you know, like I was saying.
So do you think if Jane maybe values peace really highly, then should she be at 100%? Is that kind of what you're saying?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
100% in her belief?
100% confident, like 100% confident that Christianity is true. And maybe it would be good to discuss what we mean by 100%. When you say you're 100% confident that destiny is true, what do you mean by 100%?
If you know, 7 months from now is when my visa process is going to be done, right? And if it's not done, then it's going to be further down the line, maybe, you know, 2 years from now.
Okay.
But it is going to happen. And I'm confident that whatever my destiny is set, it will happen to me.
Okay.
And whatever the situation I'm in right now, I've been depressed for the past like couple of years, and I'm coming out of it. And whatever happened to me in my past and whatever is happening right now, it's all part of destiny for me to like understand what it really means to, once I get to my place. I mean, that's not the final place I would be. That's not my final destiny, but it will help me to cope, to reach where I want to be, and it might help me to be a better person.
Okay. Do you think that you would be depressed without this belief in destiny?
Destiny. No, I don't. I wouldn't be depressed if I don't believe in destiny.
Yeah, like if you imagined next year you changed your mind about destiny. Maybe next year if I asked you and we sat back down again, you told me I'm like 55% confident that destiny is real and true. Do you think that you would then be more depressed?
No.
No? Okay. I just want to double check. I want to make sure that when I'm having these conversations that I'm being ethical in them. And if I ask questions that make somebody possibly question a belief that they perceive as holding up an important part of their mental health, I want to make sure that I'm aware of that, and potentially, depending on how you answer, I would want to maybe stop the conversation. So that's why I asked that.
Okay.
I like having these conversations. I think they're great. I think they're beneficial, but I don't want to cause anybody harm.
No,
Oh, no, we're good.
No, we're
So,
good. You're
okay.
fine. Cool. Good.
Okay. So.
Oh, first, before we start,
oh,
can we take like a minute break? If
Yeah.
you don't mind?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. All right.
Chill.
We're going.
Chill for a bit.
I'm just trying to relax. Yeah. It's been a while
It's
since.
kind of an intense conversation.
Oh yeah,
sometimes.
it's been kind of
That's
intense
totally
time
okay.
to get
Yeah.
to gather my thoughts
So-
and stuff.
So you guys going to the Paradise Buffet for some lunch after this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been there. I was there a long, long time ago. I think before it was called Paradise Buffet. It might have been Orion's for a little bit.
It was called something else. Oh.
Yeah, it's changed. Yeah, it's changed names a few times. I think it's been Paradise Buffet for maybe like 10 years though, or something.
Oh,
like that.
it's been a long time because I've never known it to.
Yeah. I'm originally from here, so I grew up just south of town. So I'm 36, so I've been around a little while.
You sure don't look like 36 though.
Oh, thank you. Unless you mean I look like I'm 72.
No.
maybe 63. Just kidding.
Ready for that Social Security. Okay, so I'm going to try to kind of just recap a little bit, and you just let me know if I'm wrong about something, okay? If I repeat something wrong, and because I might get confused. It sounds like you guys are mostly on the same page. We might be slightly different, and so I might get your perspective mixed up a little bit. So, oh, by the way, what's your name? I'm sorry.
Marissa.
Marissa. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write your name down too. M-A-R?
ISSA.
Okay. Marissa. Would you say that you're also 100% confident that destiny is true?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. And by 100%, I'm going to ask that question a little bit differently just to make sure I understand it, and then I'm going to kind of recap. Do you mean that there's no way I'm wrong? I couldn't be wrong?
I'm saying for me, it's 100% true. I'm not saying that I know everything or anything like that, but for me, it's 100% true. Just like for some people, God is 100% real. I don't expect everyone to believe what I believe.
Okay.
And I'm not going to tell you you're wrong because I technically don't know. So I would say maybe 95% because nobody knows everything. That's just not possible. But to me, it's real, but I don't expect everyone else to believe that.
It's something that you believe, or at least that. Are you saying that you believe that destiny is real for everybody, or it's only real for some people? Like, do I have a destiny even if I don't believe it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. So if I didn't believe in destiny, I would probably be wrong.
No, you would.
I don't want to say that you're wrong because I don't.
Right.
I don't technically know.
Maybe a different word like mistaken, or maybe that belief would be inaccurate. Does that sound better? Wrong kind of has a negative connotation.
If I was like all-knowing, then I would say yeah. But I don't want to ever say anyone is wrong because I could be wrong. I could be.
Yeah.
But
if we could be wrong, do you have a similar perspective? Do you think it's possible you're wrong, or is it impossible?
I don't think that's the thing. I don't think I'm wrong.
No,
But
we're not
also,
wrong.
I don't want to
everybody.
say
Right. Well, nobody thinks that the beliefs they currently have are wrong, right? But is it possible that we could be wrong about a belief?
I think anyone could be wrong about anything.
Anyone could
I
be
don't
wrong
think
about
anyone
anything.
has anything 100% figured out.
Okay.
I think we are all just here guessing.
And there are a lot of things science cannot explain.
Yeah. So just based on what you're saying there, do you think 100% is a good place to be, or would it be better to be at like 99.5%?
I would stick with 100%.
Well, you would.
Yes.
I just think I am capable of being wrong. I perceive things in my own way. And I've also struggled with mental health a lot. So I do know that your brain can trick you into believing things that are not technically real are real. But I would say 99.5 because I know I could be wrong.
Okay.
But I'm pretty...
You're very highly confident.
Yes,
But you say you think it's better to be at 100%.
Yeah, because I do believe that destiny is different from believing in destiny, like you were saying.
What do you mean?
I don't know what you mean. I'm sorry.
So,
Can you try to... Yeah.
so even though you believe in destiny or you don't believe in destiny, it will happen to you.
You still have the destiny.
Yeah, you'll still have the destiny. It doesn't. There's no relation between even though, like, you know how you were asking me earlier, if you're only 95% sure or you're not actually, you're 0% sure. It's not destiny. It's more like your hard work or your time you put in it and everything that got you where you are.
Yeah.
And I would say,
what makes the destiny belief different from other beliefs that? Because it sounds like you're saying that there are lots of things we don't know, things that science can't explain. There are things where, you know, we might think we know what's true, but we could be wrong.
Right.
But are you saying we can't be wrong about destiny? Destiny is definitely true. It's definitely real.
destiny itself is real, but we expecting something from the destiny, like we expecting a destiny to be a certain way. For example, you know, like
we could be wrong about our destiny.
yeah, we could be wrong or wrong about our
but
destiny,
we still
but
have one.
yeah, we still have one. Our destiny ain't. It cannot be wrong,
think
but we
when
could
you're
be our
born-
perspective towards the destiny and our things, the things we imagine towards our destiny, the things we think might be wrong, but the destiny will not be wrong
So
if it's meant to happen to you.
How do we know? I know you brought up some examples, like coincidences or positive things that have happened, or maybe things that seem bad, but then they worked out for the
Right.
better, right?
Right.
And you see these as being like evidence of
Yes.
destiny,
Yes.
right? Is it possible that unlikely things could happen and people can make the best of bad situations, learn a lesson from them, improve, become better people without it being destined? Is that possible?
I don't think so.
No.
I think
don't
when you're
so.
born,
Yeah.
it's already mapped out for you. I think that choices that you make will sway you one way or another, but eventually you're still going to get to that point where you're supposed to be.
So is destiny only certain things in your life are destined?
I think,
No.
yeah, I don't think.
Because it
I
kind
don't
of
think
seems
every
like
little
you're
thing.
saying like you're kind of saying like, okay, the two of us meeting was destined, but like me living in Michigan, that might not have been destined.
Okay, for like
That's how
example,
you kind of,
for example, you.
right? Yeah.
We met you here.
Uh-huh.
I strongly believe in the back of my mind, we came here. This was random. We came to a random park, never been here before.
Yeah.
We popped up here, and I believe that if we didn't, something bad could have happened because that would have been off of our path. So we would have came over here, crossed that bridge, came back, probably went back to the car, maybe been in a car accident.
Don't say that.
I'm being serious.
Did you call? Did you get that?
I
So are
think,
you- are
and
you
it's happened to me before. Like I was at work one day, and
Does destiny only work for the good?
I think it depends. If you were supposed to die, then you were supposed to die.
It's
We had a 2-year-old. I had a 2-year-old niece that died a couple years ago, for no reason. They did a toxicology report. They did everything. No reason. She just died. That was her destiny. That was what was supposed to happen. And I believe, like, for instance, one day I was at work. I worked second shift at the time, so I got off right around 11 o'clock. I left, realized that I forgot to lock the office. Never had before. Decided to go back in to lock the office. Came back out, and I came this close to getting smashed by a semi. Very close. And I feel like I forgot to lock that so that I would not have died that
it
day.
kind of sounds like what you're saying is good things happening. That could be evidence of destiny. Bad things happening.
that could be evidence
Also
of destiny.
evidence of destiny.
Yeah.
Is there anything that could possibly happen that couldn't be destiny.
No.
I think that the butterfly effect is always in effect.
Yeah.
I mean,
Is there
constantly.
Yeah. So I'm curious. If destiny weren't real, it weren't true, just hypothetically, is there anything we could see or learn or do to find that out?
I would say to find out the purpose of life.
Are you saying, is there a way we could debunk destiny?
Yeah, I'm
If
just
you-
I'm looking for ways to know, maybe ways to test whether destiny is real or not, because it kind of sounds like some people. No, correct me if I'm misunderstanding you. I want to make sure I'm understanding you properly. Some people will look at coincidences and they'll say that's just a coincidence. People will say it's destiny. Some people will see a good thing happen, like you narrowly miss getting smashed by a semi, or you meet each other. That's evidence of destiny. And so, but then also bad things are evidence of destiny. So, what I'm looking for, right? And maybe what I want an accurate map. Okay.
Okay.
I don't need a completed map. Okay. I am perfectly happy to admit when I don't know something. Of course, you always want to know more. It's nice to know more, right? But I want an accurate map. I don't want any false beliefs in my map of belief. Is that fair?
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
fair, but you cannot put anything down on paper because life is not a piece of paper. Every single person in this planet has a different experience about life.
It's just like an
yes,
analogy, right?
yes.
For the beliefs that I hold,
Right.
right? And I'm willing to write them in pencil too. I'm willing to build my map and write things in pencil. And then, oh, you know what? I was wrong about that. I can erase it, right? But if I want that accurate map, right? I want my beliefs to be accurate. I want to be able to know whether a belief I have is true or not. Maybe not 100% certain, but maybe like, I want some sort of way to either know, hey, this belief that I had, this is probably true, or this belief I have, maybe it's not true. And so what I'm looking for right here is, okay, so destiny, belief in destiny maybe gives us peace, maybe gives us comfort, maybe helps us feel satisfied and help us sleep better at night. Just like maybe Jane can believe in God and Jesus, and that can help bring her peace and comfort and help her sleep at night, right? But if I'm concerned about having an accurate map, is there a way for me to know whether destiny is true or not?
See, that's the thing though. We cannot be 100% sure about anything.
But you're 100% sure about destiny?
Yes.
95.
You're allowed to change if you want to. I'm not pressuring you to change.
I'm not changing though. That's the thing.
Okay.
You cannot, no matter what you do in your life, you cannot be 100% sure about everything.
Okay.
I think he's saying destiny is not something to be believed or not believed.
Yeah, it's not that something that you put on the paper or you change your way of life or something that you do to change the destiny or whatever you've written down. That's your destiny.
Yeah, not specifics about destiny, right? Not like a specific destiny, but just the idea of destiny more broadly. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's 100%.
You're 100% on
100%.
that.
I think he's like talking me into like believing it more because, yeah, 100%. Because no, but seriously,
It
like,
is.
So
I'm just not able to
on your
articulate
map,
but
on your map of beliefs, in the
Okay.
corner of your map that says destiny,
Yeah.
you're writing true, and you want to write it in like permanent
Yes.
Sharpie marker.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. No matter what you do, if it happens, it happens.
Even though we maybe don't have a way of knowing if
Yes.
destiny is false, if it is false.
Destiny, how can it be false? Because your future cannot be false. It's coming. Future destiny is kind of
It's more, I think you're thinking of it as like, okay, let me put it this way. We are always where we're supposed to be. That is destiny.
Right.
So,
That's how I'm understanding what you mean by destiny, right?
Mhm.
It's not possible
Yes.
for somebody to be somewhere they're not supposed to be.
no.
Correct.
We are here because
so like
this
when,
is our destiny
when
right
like
now.
a child is born and they are diagnosed with bone cancer at 6 months old and they die a horrible, agonizing, painful death.
Sadly, yes.
That
That's
was
their
meant
destiny.
to be.
That's
That was
their
their
destiny.
That's just, it's
Um,
horrible, but that's just how it is.
The example
is
she
it possible
gave
for somebody
earlier.
to? Sorry, go ahead.
The example she gave earlier about a 2-year-old or one of our friends. Maybe.
Right, yeah.
It's kind of like a destiny because now we don't want to name anyone out, but we see a certain changes in like us towards kids and the way we perceive things because that taught us a lesson.
Yeah.
That helps us in
So
destiny.
I'm curious though, like if somebody has 100% belief in this idea of destiny, they might not be able to know. Well, maybe I'm wrong about that. Hold on.
That's the thing, though.
Let him
Destiny is
think, let him
future.
think.
Destiny is future, and you don't know the future.
Yeah, I believe in the future.
Hmm?
I like. I think we all probably believe that the future is coming.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't know that everybody believes that everything that happens was meant to be.
Oh, I don't think everyone believes that,
Right.
but you're right. I think they're wrong.
Yeah, you think they're
I
wrong,
think
right?
they're
You're
wrong.
100% confident
yeah.
that people
Yeah.
are wrong if they think that certain things weren't
Yes.
meant to be.
Yes.
Like, we just got a puppy, for example. We decided, we have a golden retriever and a beagle.
Uh-huh.
And I had a miscarriage a couple years ago, and
sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. And we really wanted a baby then, and now I realize, like, that happened. That I had a miscarriage for a reason. My child would be 1.5 years. We wouldn't be here right now. If I had a 1.5-year-old, we would be busy. So, I think, like with this puppy, was feeling sad because I'm not able to have another child, and we were against having another dog. We didn't want another dog, and he said,
And
"Get a small dog. Go ahead."
And we got a 5-pound dog. It barely, like, you can even feel it in your arms.
But you're
and
missing the point.
No, how often do you see a 5-pound dog to be exactly the way we wanted? Like, we expected our dog. We expect our dogs to act in a certain way, right? If you know what I mean.
A puppy.
A puppy, basically. We wanted to be like mellow, like a small dog, and it's too much to ask for a small puppy because they have so much energy to spare. But the puppy we got is exactly what we wanted.
Okay.
Okay, but the way that we got the dog is the interesting part.
Yes, that's true.
So I was looking everywhere, scouring the internet for a dog. I had seen a couple, and I was like, And I went to work, and my boss was like, I'm looking for a dog, and he said, oh, I have one coming from Kentucky today, if you want it. I didn't look at a picture. I didn't know what gender he was. I didn't know how old he was. I just said, okay. He ended up being the exact size that I wanted, and he ended up acting just like a baby. He's a baby. And I feel like I could have chosen millions of dogs, and this dog just happened to be coming from Kentucky the day that I decided I was getting a dog, and he's perfect.
Okay, so it sounds like you're saying like these things are evidence of destiny, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
If I wouldn't have had a miscarriage, I would have got the dog.
yeah, there's all these different events that happen, right?
Right.
Okay, different hypothetical person here.
Okay.
Okay. Let's say Alice comes up, and Alice has a very similar story. Okay, you just gonna have to use your imagination.
Okay.
And Alice says, these things, I had this experience. I had a miscarriage, and that was upsetting. But on the bright side, and kind of in response to that, it went and dog adoption, all the kind of similar sorts of things, right? And it worked out just perfectly, right? But let's just say that, she have a really similar story to yours, but Alice tells us the reason that all worked out the way it did was I kind of got lucky. But I also, I was motivated, or I made certain decisions. I decided to do this because of this reason. I wanted a dog because of this reason. I went out and made it happen. I took these things in my own hands and made decisions for myself to achieve what I wanted and help myself feel better. And things just happen to work out just right. But Alice does not believe in destiny.
Okay.
Alice just believes that we're all here and things happen and we make decisions and
Sure, dumb luck.
and some of it's dumb luck. Some of it is that people are motivated and do the things that they want to do and try to achieve goals by being disciplined, maybe, and these sorts of things. And I sit here, and let's say Alice is 100% certain destiny is bunk. It is not real. No such thing as destiny, right? We're all just existing in the universe with made up of atoms and molecules and that sort of thing. And there's random chance and people and agents making decisions and that sort of thing. Okay, and so Alice has that story. First of all, is it possible for Alice to have that sort of experience, but attribute it differently and explain it differently, like she does?
Yes.
She does. She can.
Okay.
I do not believe.
Obviously,
in
you
that,
believe differently.
but-
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
You obviously
she
believe
can-
in something different than she does, right?
Right.
But you could possibly both have the same experience, right?
Mhm.
And I'm a third. I sit here and I listen to your story and I listen to Alice's story. And let's say I'm just concerned with what's true and I just want to have my accurate map, right?
Mhm.
She's at 100% confident destiny is false.
Mhm.
You're 100% confident destiny is true. How could I figure out which of you is right?
So you know how we believe 100% of destiny is true,
Uh-huh.
and how she believes it's 0% of it is true.
Right, yeah.
The same way, whatever you believe destiny is, that's true. If you believe it's only 50%, maybe it's only 50% for you. But our beliefs are, it's more like we cannot make anyone or force anyone
Right,
to
yeah, I don't
understand.
I
wanna
think you make
force-
your own reality.
I don't want to
Yeah, you-
force Alice to change what
That's-
she thinks.
that's
I don't wanna
exactly the
force
word I
you
was
to change what
looking
you
for.
think either. I don't want to do that. I'm
Right.
not interested in forcing people to change their beliefs.
Uh,
I just want to know what's true for myself, right?
Everybody has their own own perspective of reality.
You
Right.
have to perceive. So if me and Alice are sitting here and
Mhm.
you're hearing us, you're gonna perceive us
in your own way.
in your own way, not the way I perceive me or her, or vice versa.
Right.
So you could probably make 50, 75, depending on how you perceive it.
Yeah.
So, like, if I make a statement and she makes a statement that contradicts that statement, it is your decision on which one you believe.
Yeah. And I might believe her. I might believe you.
See,
The place where I'm stuck, and so I
Okay.
honestly just try to help me.
Okay.
okay.
If you can help me through this at all, because I really want to know.
Okay.
Me personally, right? I want the accurate map, right?
Okay.
And maybe it sounds like you want an accurate map too,
Oh,
right?
yes.
You maybe
Right.
you're a little okay with some inaccuracies on your map.
I
Is
mean,
that
yeah.
fair?
I mean, I don't have anything on my map. I just.
You don't
Whatever.
believe anything?
I mean, I do believe in destiny, but I do don't expect anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
No specifics.
Right.
But like that's a belief you have, right?
Right,
That's on
right,
your map.
right,
That destiny is real.
Right.
When I hear a personal story and then I hear another personal story and it's being attributed two different ways, being explained different ways, right? I believe your story.
Mhm.
I think it's true. Likewise, if Alice came up and said the same story, I'd believe her.
Mhm.
I don't have any reason to
Right.
think that you're lying to
Right,
me.
right.
Okay.
And you have
But-
every right to believe that one too, because
Yeah, yeah.
it's as long
Yeah,
as we're
everybody has
true,
a right.
everybody has a same opinion.
Totally agree.
Everybody
People
has
have the
a different
right to
opinion.
believe different things.
Right, right.
Yeah, and I'm not going to tell people they can't believe
Right,
something.
right.
That
right.
would be very authoritarian. I don't want to live in an authoritarian kind of environment.
Or more like, nah, you got to believe in destiny
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, bad things happen when people try to force other people to believe a certain way. Very bad things happen. So
That's-
we don't
that's-
want to do that.
No.
That's
right?
one thing about religion that,
Yeah,
that I don't like. Not just
yeah.
any
Sometimes
religion,
it
all
can
the
be forced-
religions do that.
Trying to force it on people, right? We
Yeah,
don't.
yeah,
No
yeah,
interest in
yeah.
that. Right. Believe your story. Believe her story. I want to know if the attribution is correct, right? You're 100% confident in your attribution. Alice is 100% confident in her attribution. But so far, I don't know if I have a way of figuring out whose attribution is correct. Is there a way to figure out whose attribution is correct?
No, there is not, because everybody has their own perspective. You cannot say this is correct and this is wrong.
People
because
have different perspectives.
what she's saying is 100% correct too. The same way what we are saying is 100% correct. Because
she's not, but
I mean, she's actually, yeah, she's right. She's not
wrong.
Yeah,
But
because you think
She just
correct me if I'm
perceives it
wrong.
differently.
If I'm wrong, right? You guys think destiny's true for everybody.
Yeah.
Alice has a
True.
destiny. I have a
Yes.
destiny. We all have a destiny,
Yes.
right? And so in this case, if you're right, Alice is wrong, right? She has a destiny.
Maybe it's her destiny
that-
not to believe in destiny.
Maybe. But if Alice is right, then you guys are wrong, right?
Yeah.
I just would prefer not to be wrong. Okay? So, I'm gonna put my cards on the table here.
Okay, do your thing.
If she's 100% confident Destiny's not real, you're 100% confident Destiny is real. And I'm just trying to figure out what's right, what's true. If I don't have any way of knowing who's right, if I don't have any way to be able to verify or test whether Destiny is real or not, I feel personally like maybe I should be somewhere in between. Maybe I should be in the middle. Maybe I shouldn't have a really strong opinion on Destiny because I don't know the way to know.
Right, but you also don't know the way to know what she was saying too.
Oh,
Right,
so
yeah.
It's like it's
Yeah.
basically
It's
like
your
how
choice.
it's your choice
Just
to
like God.
perceive. Yeah, basically.
You choose to 100% believe in him, even though you have no proof, really.
Yeah.
You don't.
Should we?
I don't think that you have to. That's on
Yeah.
you. It's up to you.
God is within us. God or devil,
Yeah,
it's within us.
God, Destiny, devils, these sorts of things. Do you think
I don't think
is
that
there
has
is
to
there
be
a
proof.
benefit? Maybe let me ask it this way: is there some benefit that I'm not seeing? Maybe it's a benefit thing. Maybe it's not about true and false. Is there some benefit to being 95, 100% confident instead of being like, I don't know, 50%? It's on my I don't know part of my map.
I think there is a benefit in believing in destiny.
Okay.
And let me put it this way. If you think everything's just being lucky or unlucky, I think it's just random. And I think that's harder to swallow. Whereas with destiny, this happened, even if it's a bad thing. I'm content with it because that was supposed to happen. Just
So-
like with a 2-year-old dying.
So, for example, if something happens in your future and you're not sure about your destiny, you don't believe in your destiny, and you experience, God forbid, you experience nothing bad, but if something terrible happens, it's easier for you to swallow the pill
Okay.
if you accept the fact, if you agree that everything happens for a reason. Hear me out. If you, it would be hard.
I think I understand you. I think I think we kind of talked about it
Right.
a couple times already. So, and we kind of talked about that, right? Peace, that kind of sense of like, things happen for a reason. I am at peace with that.
Right.
Helps me sleep, right? We talked about
Right,
that, right?
right.
Similarly with like God beliefs and like religions, right?
Right.
People can derive peace, right? That's like kind of the benefit there, right? But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we already talked a little bit about like somebody could also feel at peace even without that belief in destiny, right?
I think...
Or are they going to be less at peace, you think?
I think that they could be at peace depending on like what they do believe in. Like some people, I don't know if they believe in
Hey,
anything.
who are we to judge though? Because
Right.
that's if he believes in 100% luck or 100%, whatever she's doing, then it's their choice. It's
Yeah.
whatever they believe in. It's 100% true too. Again,
Is it 100% true, or is it just that it's beneficial?
It's beneficial. It's
Okay.
the way they perceive things. It's completely upon
Yeah.
them.
So
we
like if
cannot-
Alice believes differently, right? Has the opposite belief about destiny, but it's beneficial for her.
Yes.
It makes it easier for her to not think that her life isn't already planned out, that she is in control of her life. Maybe she gets peace from feeling like, I have agency and I have free will and I can make my own decisions and I can do what's best for me.
Destiny is not to say you don't have free will.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there.
Interesting. That could be an interesting... I kind of want to discuss that, but I kind of want to maybe come back to it later.
Okay.
So let's say that's kind of where Alice gets her sense of peace, and she's like, you know what? There's no God dictating what's going to happen in my life. There's no force of the universe who's controlling every little thing and pulling all the strings and determining whether I get cancer or not. I'm going to not smoke, and I'm going to exercise, and I'm going to be disciplined and build good habits and achieve the things I want, and that gives me a sense of peace, and that's good for Alice, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Then are we kind of saying, like, well, that's good for Alice, and Alice should continue to believe that?
Yeah, well, whatever gets her through her day, yeah. I think you should be able to believe whatever you want to believe, whether it be false or not.
Yeah. So, I'm going to ask a couple of questions, kind of revisit them after our conversation, just see where you are. Because I think it might have changed on some things.
Okay.
So, first of all, how important is it for you, for your beliefs to be true, like for your map to be accurate?
I think I'm going to say 85.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that because I gave the grace for Alice, right? She should be able to believe whatever she wants to believe and whatever makes her content and happy. Mm-hmm. Because none of us are 100% right. That's just...
Yeah. Life. And how would you answer that question? How accurate do you...
I would answer the same, like 90% or 85%, because none of it...
And that's kind of where you were before. Now you've kind of come down to meet... Kind of you're in the same place now.
Right.
Okay. My next question is, when considering what's on our map, considering our beliefs, which of these two is more important for you when considering what to hold to strongly in your beliefs? Whether they are true or whether they're beneficial?
If they're beneficial.
They're beneficial is more important to you. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that whole sense of maybe peace or helping you achieve things or making your life better, helping you not be depressed, potentially, those sorts of things, those consequences of our beliefs possibly, value that more than baseline whether they're true or not.
Right.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to make an inference. My inference is that when it comes to your maps, you're okay with having maybe some things on your map that you believe strongly in. It's okay with you if maybe in reality they're not true.
Yes.
If you are deriving a benefit from them.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
And likewise, you're okay with other people doing that as well?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Is there a situation where somebody could have a belief, maybe that is beneficial for them, that we would maybe not be okay with them having because it is detrimental for others?
Yes, actually. Well, my parents are a prime example.
Yeah, so kind of what I was thinking of. I didn't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, my parents are a prime example. They have become extremely Christian, and I'm happy that took them out of, addiction and the abusive cycle. They're happy people now. But I think now they've got this belief that they've wrapped their entire lives around, and I think it affects relationships around them, because they are trying to shove religion down people's throats because they've found God and they feel like this is like so great, and I want everyone, and I appreciate that they want everyone to feel the way they feel, but they don't understand that just because they believe it doesn't mean it will give another person the same peace that it gives them.
But
you think
also,
that
at
if-
the end of the day,
Huh?
we both believing, like her and her parents believing the same thing. It's the same positive thing. It's just a different way of viewing things.
You're naming
know?
it something different.
Yeah.
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 Do you think that your belief in destiny has fewer negative impacts?
I think yes, and I don't think like Christianity and destiny is like, oh, I'm saying like from the perspective of me and my parents. I was abused heavily as a child. So
I'm sorry about that.
I think I'm not.
Oh, okay.
And it's because of my belief in
Because of that, yeah,
destiny.
yeah.
Because if I would never have went through that, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I would not be the person that he loves. Everything that has happened in my life has made me who I am and led me to my destiny. And I still have further to go, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think
And maybe Alice could say, you know, I accept the things that have happened and it's made me who I am, and that's fine, but maybe doesn't mean it was destined to happen, right? Just
Alice could say it.
Alice
She
could
could.
say it.
She
I
could
mean,
say
she
that,
could
right?
say it.
She can say that.
She can
so
say
long as
whatever-
she's, you know, not hurting other people and she's
Right.
deriving benefit
Right.
from that belief, right?
Right.
Right.
That's kind of the idea.
But I think that
Do you-
they are hurting other people. Some people, not everyone that
Uh-huh.
is religious, but I think a lot of people that are religious try to push their beliefs on other
Mm-hmm.
people, and because everyone perceives everything differently, it doesn't work out the way that they want. And I think that angers them because people don't feel the way that they feel,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and they go to hurting
I'm
them.
curious, do you think, this is totally hypothetical, I'm going to ask you to mind read, and this probably isn't fair.
Okay.
Okay? This might not be a good question. I don't think I've ever asked this
Okay.
question before. It's gone really deep, though, which I really like.
Oh, I like
go
it.
ahead.
I actually have to leave soon.
Okay.
I gotta go pick
Oh.
up my kids. I've got like a few more minutes. This
Okay.
might be the last question I have.
Okay.
Do you think it would be good for not necessarily your parents in particular, but for people who maybe have similar beliefs as your parents, right? Who believe really strongly in this thing, and maybe it provides positive benefit for them, but then they maybe have some negative impacts societally, right? Trying to shove it down people's throats or
Right.
whatever, right? Do you think it would be good for somebody who's like that, who is at 100% confident in their religious belief, to maybe hold some space to consider that it's possible they're wrong and maybe be at 90 instead of 100?
Yes. I think that is the problem that we have, and I'm just now realizing it, is that nobody's 100% sure of everything, and I think when you think you're 100% sure, you get a God complex. I do.
Usually,
I think it is true.
it's very hard to find people who accept for a fact for who you are. It's hard for people to find. For example, whatever I say at 100%, they might not say 100%, but still,
No, they have a right. So they
Yeah,
have a right.
Yeah, they have a right to be there, of course.
Right,
But what
right.
I'm asking is, coming back to kind of like the benefits thing, right? Because that sounds like that's really important to you, right? The benefits, how it impacts people's well-being. Is that fair, right? Their mental state, etc., right? And in this case, we're talking about like the impacts on society as a whole and the relationships with other people, right? But I think you totally understood. Right?
Yeah.
What I was saying is, would maybe there be less of those negative outcomes if the people who had that belief, right? If those really dogmatic religious people, right? If they were maybe a little less dogmatic, a little less absolutely certain 100%, would it be beneficial for them to be at 85, 90?
Yes.
Actually, I lost my train of thought, but I was about to say that, it's hard to find people who accept for a fact that, I'm 100% sure, you're 100% sure, and you have every right to be 100% sure, and I have every right to be 100% sure. You don't find people like that. More often you find people, you know what I believe? This is what I believe, and if you don't believe it, here, let me teach you something. That's what they do. Whatever they perceive, whatever they believe is true, they try to impersonate or expect people to be a certain way.
And I
They do
think
not accept for the fact that they have their own personality. Whatever they believe is true, whatever we believe is true. It's just different
People are
perspective
going
of viewing
to
things.
believe different things, right?
I think
And
though,
some of their beliefs might be right. They might, correspond with reality, right? They might be accurate, have an accurate match. Some of the beliefs might be wrong, right? You guys maybe not as concerned with whether it's accurate or not, but more about the benefits, right?
Yeah.
The benefits and the costs, right? Costs and benefits, the impacts that it has on people. Is it benefiting people? Is it benefiting them? Is it harming people? Is it harming them? And maybe, let me know if this sounds preachy, okay?
Okay, do
I'm
your
not,
thing.
I'm not,
Go ahead.
when doing what I'm doing, it's important to shoot your messenger, is what they say. Meaning, don't message, don't tell
Right.
people what to think, right?
Okay.
But I think it's fair to share my perspective
Yeah.
if you want to hear it.
Oh, yeah,
you want to hear it?
100%. Everybody has their own perspective.
Because sometimes you don't want to hear it from someone, but yeah.
I was gonna ask you.
To me, I think that it's good, especially with these sorts of beliefs, God beliefs, destiny beliefs, etc., to hold those beliefs a little less tightly. I think I might agree with you guys that with many beliefs, what might be more important than whether they're true is whether they are beneficial. I tend to think that true beliefs are usually highly correlated with beneficial beliefs. I think believing what's true is usually very beneficial. But I can think of maybe some counterexamples. But so I also really care about like the benefits and the costs and like the outcomes for people and their well-being. And I generally tend to think that, especially for beliefs that we don't really have like a good scientific way to test for them and know whether they're true or not, that it's maybe better to be a little less confident and not be 99, 100%, because I think you brought up like the God complex. Kind of thing. If I'm 100% true, there's no way I'm
There's
wrong.
no openness.
I'm definitely right. Then it kind of there's no openness. It kind of shuts you off
can't
from
learn
hearing other
anything.
perspectives.
Yeah,
You're
you
not going
can't
to learn
learn
other
anything
things.
new.
Right?
That's the only reason why I'm 100% sure only on the destiny and nothing else.
Nothing else. Okay. So, last question, and then you can ask me a couple more questions, and then I really got to pack.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kids.
Even we gotta
Yeah.
go to bed.
Okay. Yeah, you got lunch to go.
Yeah.
Right? This has been. I've really enjoyed this, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
Thank
me
you so
too.
much.
Me too. We're gonna talk about this anyway.
So my last question then is just reflecting back on what we talked about. How confident are you currently that destiny is real? Is true?
100%.
I'm at 85, but I think I'm at 85 for anything because none of us know where we're at, and I'm always open to discuss. And I think that's where my parents have failed, is that they were like, God is real, and if you try to tell me anything different, then angry, So I think being
Interesting.
open is the only way you can get through life and have good relationships, because no one's going to think exactly the same way that you do.
May
we
I
don't
ask
think
you-
the same
Yeah,
way either.
yeah.
May I ask you, how much do you believe in destiny? How much percent?
It depends on how you think of the scale. In a certain sense, I think I'm very confident in destiny. And that's because I'm what's called a determinist. Maybe not a hard determinist, but I lean more towards determinism in like how events cause outcomes in other events. So in one sense of the word, I'm really highly confident. But I leave some wiggle room because I don't know.
Right.
In another sense of the word, in like a magical, metaphysical, there's a god or some mysterious, mystical force guiding us to a particular outcome, and things are meant to be, I'm very not confident in that.
No,
I'm
me
not the
either.
opposite.
We agree with you.
We
Okay.
either. We are
Interesting,
completely
because
opposite with that.
I hear a lot of this meant to be talk, and so maybe we actually were talking past each other a little bit. So that's where I am.
It's not meant to be by something. It's just meant to be by the universe. It's
Like-
it's energy.
It's
you know?
supposed to be this way. Whether
Yeah.
it was supposed to be that way 10 years ago or
Yeah.
no.
So I think it might also be a bit of a misunderstanding on my part. I tried to clarify as much as possible. It's possible I still misunderstood you a little bit. So
So
that's
let,
okay.
let me put it this way, okay? How old is the planet Earth? It's it's like
3.8 billion.
yeah,
or something
3.8
like that,
billion years
maybe.
old, and we live for 100 years old.
Maybe that's
now,
life. I don't remember.
maybe we live for 80 years of life, and we have consciousness talking to each other. And what are the chances that we actually talk to each other when, it could be anywhere during the timeline of 3.8 billion years, but here we are in 2024 talking to each other, having consciousness about it.
Great.
So
I do have to get going.
okay,
But
yeah.
how'd you like that conversation?
Oh,
that's
that's perfect. That was
great.
Yeah, it was good
Awesome.
talking to
I also
you.
have a little gift for you. You can each
Oh.
take one.
Thank
They're
you.
little puzzle
Thank
piece
you.
stress reliever things that say Street
nice.
Epistemology on there, so you can check out what I'm all about. And I would encourage you to learn more about this method of talking to people and what street epistemology is all about. There's people all over the world who do this and practice this and go have conversations with people, and we're trying to make the world of a better place where we allow people to talk about these sorts of things in a civil way. So I really enjoyed the conversation, and I would encourage you to, as you leave, as you walk, as you're riding the car, think about, the things we talked about. Think about the last question, 100%, 85%. We're in slightly different places now. It could be a conversation starter for the rest of the day.
She knows me.
I've also got some water. If you want a free bottle of water, I know you guys have some drinks, but yeah, absolutely. I will probably be back in this park Thursday and Friday mornings too.
Okay.
Thursday and Friday morning this week. I've got 3 hours every day this week. So,
okay. All right.
Awesome.
Okay.
It was great
It
talking
was
to you.
nice meeting you.
Yes, you too. You too.
Thanks for taking the time to watch this video all the way to the end. I hope you found it thought-provoking, or at least entertaining. If you appreciate the content and tone of what I'm producing, please consider liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and ringing the bell to be notified when I release a new video. Your support helps me continue creating more videos like this one. I also encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments section. Respectful discourse centered on constructive criticism goes a long way toward helping me improve. Please remember to be kind to everyone featured in the video, just as I am to be when practicing street epistemology. Stay curious and keep questioning.